మెయిన్స్ ఎగ్జామ్ ఎలా ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వాలి. ఒకటి, కొన్ని క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇచ్చి ఆన్సర్స్ ఎలా రాయాలి. ప్రతిరోజు క్వశ్చన్ ఇస్తాను, ఆన్సర్ రాపిస్తాను. ఎవ్రీ డే ఐ విల్ గివ్ ఏ క్వశ్చన్ అండ్ మేక్ యూ టు రైట్ ఆన్సర్ హియర్ అండ్ ఐ విల్ టెల్ ద ఆన్సర్. దానికి నేను ఆన్సర్ చెప్తాను, మీ చేత చెప్పించి నేను చెప్తాను. మీరేం పాయింట్స్ రాసారు చెప్పి దాని నేషన్ నేను చెప్తాను. అండ్ ఒక్కొక్క ఆన్సర్లో ఏమేమి కంటెంట్ రావాలి, ఒక్కొక్క ఆన్సర్లో ఏమేమి ఉండాలి, అది కూడా నేను డిస్కస్ చేస్తాను. ఈచ్ ఆన్సర్ ఎలాంటి కంటెంట్ ఉండాలి, ఎలాంటివి రాయాలి, ఆల్ దిస్ థింగ్స్ విల్ డిస్కస్. అది ఐ విల్ టెల్ యూ హౌ ఐ హ్యావ్ ప్రిపేర్డ్. అది కూడా మీకు ఇప్పుడు చెప్తాను. అంటే ఏమేమి కంటెంట్ డెవలప్ చేశాను, వాట్ ఈస్ ద కంటెంట్ I have given to the mains and what type of answers I wrote and how to construct an answer and how to structurize an answer. This is very important, how to construct and how to structurize an answer. First thing, in UPSC the trend is flowcharts, maps and diagrams. First thing, flowcharts, maps and diagrams. Even there are people who started drawing some diagrams in ethics paper. Even in ethics there are people who started drawing some diagrams in ethics. For example, in ethics paper, if there is a question on good governance, what do you mean by good governance and what are the ingredients of good governance? What is the difference between good governance and ethical governance? In 2016, this question is asked. What is the difference between good governance and ethical governance? On the side, in one side of the answer sheet, you can draw a small spoke diagram with good governance, representing good governance. So it will fetch you 2 marks more. The diagram you can finish in 2 minutes. But you will get 2 marks more in the diagram. So good governance, you have to draw a small spoke, hub and spoke diagram so that you can easily make an answer. For example, draw a small circle, inside that write good governance. Small circle, inside that write good governance and give arrows to it. 7 arrows: accountable, transparent, responsive, equitable, effective, efficient, rule of law, participatory approach, consensus oriented. So a small circle, inside good governance, give spokes, give 7 spokes. One spoke is accountable, one spoke is accountable, second spoke transparent, third responsive, fourth equitable and inclusive, fourth is equitable and inclusive, fifth effective, efficient, sixth rule of law, seventh participatory approach, eighth consensus oriented. So like this you will get spokes like this. Okay, you have to draw spokes like this when you want to write an answer on good governance. This chart, if you draw in your notebook and keep it with you, useful in ethics, useful in polity, useful in essay. Ethics, essay and polity. Okay, that is how you have to write many answers. I will keep on telling what type of diagrams you can draw in each and every answer. This is one type. And second thing, there should be a data point. A separate notebook should be maintained for data, important data. See, yesterday there is a discussion about anti-trafficking bill. Recently a bill was introduced with respect to stringent punishments to the trafficking and the people who are involved in trafficking and the people who transmitted AIDS through human trafficking, prostitution, all those things. 77% of the women, 77% of the women, trafficked women who went to the rehabilitation homes, after their release from rehabilitation homes, again went for prostitution. They again went for prostitution. This 77% is data. Mains answers almost everyone write in a similar way, but 77% is data. This is very important. This is very important. Next important thing in mains is, whenever you are writing a particular answer, with respect to that, any policy is there, any act is there, any constitutional provision, all these things you should add. Any policy, any act, any constitutional provision. Particularly in constitution, articles and cases. Articles and cases. Those who wrote 2017 mains exam, they all know they have given a case on right to privacy judgment. Puttaswamy versus Union of India. Right to privacy judgment, Puttaswamy versus Union of India. In 2016, they have directly given a case, IR Coelho versus Union of India. IR Coelho case. UPSC right now is focusing on cases, the judgments. So, triple talaq judgment, uniform civil code, This might be a question for you this year. You may get a question on Article 44, Uniform Civil Code. Now I will tell you a question and an answer. Do you think Uniform Civil Code, is practical or feasible in India? Do you think Uniform Civil Code is practical in India, or is it the time for India to have Uniform Civil Code? Is the time ripened in India to have Uniform Civil Code? Are we ready to have Uniform Civil Code? Such type of questions might appear. For this, I will give an answer. Article 44 of the Indian Constitution deals with Uniform Civil Code. In India, criminal laws and civil laws are common to all people, but personal laws or family laws differ from religion to religion. Personal laws or family laws differ from religion to religion. That is, for Hindu there is one law, for Christian, for Muslim there are different laws. There is an urgent need for Uniform Civil Code in India. Except in Goa and Puducherry, we don't have Uniform Civil Code. Except in Goa and Puducherry, we don't have Uniform Civil Code. But the problem is, the real challenge here is, orthodox sections, conservative sections in all communities are saying that, Uniform Civil Code will affect their religious practices, will affect their freedom of religion. Uniform Civil Code will affect their religious practices, will challenge their religious freedom. Article 25 to 28 of the Indian Constitution gives freedom of religion. Article 25 to 28 of the Indian Constitution gives freedom of religion. Freedom of religion is a fundamental right. And Article 25 says, subject to public order, morality and health. Article 25 says, subject to public order, morality and health, every person have the freedom of religion in India. The question is here, no fundamental right is absolute. Freedom of religion is also not absolute. For maintenance of basic human rights in a civilized society, freedom of religion can be curtailed. Certain religious practices can be curtailed. There can be a common regulation for a religion. There can be a common regulation for religions. That can happen in a civilized society. That means, as a civil aspirant, you are thinking in a proper way, progressive way and a civilized way. But again you are right. In India, uniform civil code at a single stroke cannot be imposed, cannot be established, because the Indian society is not yet ready to accept this. We have to bring secular fabric, we have to enhance secular views, we have to make the education and awareness in the downtrodden sections in all the communities and bring awareness, education and development in all the communities. Then only India will be ready for uniform civil code. Uniform civil code at a single stroke cannot be introduced, but step by step, phase by phase, we can head towards uniform civil code, and finally we can bring a uniform civil code in India. As you all know, India is a truly secular country. Many important religions flourished in India. After writing this, you have to end this with a statement. As Swami Vivekananda told, all religions are like different streams. All religions are like various streams going and merging in the ocean called humanity. All religions are like various streams merging in the ocean called humanity. See, when I am writing my mains, my introductions and conclusions, most of them are with some quotes. I have not given separate conclusion. I have given my conclusion, my opinion on uniform civil code and religion through Vivekananda. So I have done similar things. For example, when I wrote an answer on health, I wrote a few years back, as Mahatma Gandhi said, it is not the pieces of gold or pieces of silver, it is the health which is the real wealth. It is not the pieces of gold or pieces of silver, it is the health which is the real wealth. So you can start your health article with this Mahatma Gandhi's quote, or as I told you, uniform civil code, Vivekananda's quote, or you can also start with B.R. Ambedkar's quote. I likes the religion, I likes that religion which teaches liberty, equality and fraternity. I like that religion which teaches liberty, equality and fraternity. If you learn these quotes, you can write good essay, good ethics, good GS answers, easy to manage answers. So that can happen with you. That I'll keep on telling. I like that religion which teaches liberty, equality and fraternity. At the end you can write Swami Vivekananda's quote. So this is how you have to manage. For example, you are writing an essay or GS answer on education. You can start with Nelson Mandela's quote. Education is the most powerful weapon through which you can change the world. Education is the most powerful weapon through which you can change the world. Or you can also write one more quote. Education is a manifestation of perfection which already existed in man. Swami Vivekananda. Education is a manifestation of perfection which already existed in man. Swami Vivekananda. Like that, if you can evolve. This time I expect a question on Higher Education Commission. UGC will cabinet approved to scrap out University Grads Commission, and a question might come on Higher Education Commission. So when you are writing an introduction to education, you should start with some quote, one single sentence. It looks very good. Okay, education is a manifestation of perfection which already existed in man. Education is a manifestation of perfection which already existed in man. Like that you have to take a lead or end with a lead. That you have to do. Coming to questions and answers. The most probable questions this time we can expect. Some of the questions, why they are important, what type of questions we can expect this time in GS basically. We will start with a question. First I will give 4 or 5 model questions. 4 or 5 model questions. For example, in GS4 ethics, where most of the students got very less marks last year, I will give a model question. How emotional intelligence is useful in administration? Simple question. How emotional intelligence is useful in administration And what are the challenges? How emotional intelligence is useful in administration, and what are the challenges in implementing emotional intelligence in administration? What are the challenges in implementing emotional intelligence in administration? Okay, this is one question. Next question, the basic structure theory. In the Indian Constitution. Is dynamic but not static. The basic structure theory in the Indian Constitution is dynamic but not static. Next question, the recent trade wars. There will be a question on this. The recent trade wars. How the recent trade wars are going to affect? AFFECT effect the global trade. How the recent trade wars are going to affect the global trade? See, in history, every time they are passionate to give a question on personality and personality differences. In 2016, they have given a question on Mahatma Gandhi and Subash Chandra Bose. In 2016, they have given a question to compare and contrast Mahatma Gandhi and Subash Chandra Bose. In 2003 or 4, I remember, they have given a question on compare and contrast Jawaharlal Nehru with Jinnah. This time you will get a question, Gandhi or Tagore, or Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and Nehru. Similar questions might come in the history. Or non-cooperation movement affects difference between non-cooperation and civil disobedience movement, and what led to partition of India, or cabinet mission plan. Some sort of question might come in the history question paper. So I will tell you how I have handled a question, Mahatma Gandhi versus Subash Chandra Bose. What did I write for that question? That I will explain. Kindly listen. Mahatma Gandhi and Subash Chandra Bose both are famous personalities in Indian freedom struggle. Gandhi believed in non-violence. Subash Chandra Bose took up arms. Gandhi wanted to bring independence through mass movements within India and inside India. Subash Chandra Bose even approached foreign powers to gain independence to India. When Gandhi launched Quit India movement, Subash Chandra Bose have not come down and strongly supported Gandhi. Here, Gandhi versus Subash Chandra Bose. It was Subash Chandra Bose who called Gandhi father of nation, though it is not official. It's not official. Both Gandhi and Subash Chandra Bose appreciated each other's efforts. And there was a letter written by Mahatma Gandhi to the Rajkumari Amrit Kaur. There is a letter written by Mahatma Gandhi to the Rajkumari Amrit Kaur stating that Subash Chandra Bose is a patriot, but a misguided patriot. Subash Chandra Bose is a patriot, but a misguided patriot. I have ended my answer by writing this. Subash Chandra Bose is a patriot, but a misguided patriot, Gandhi said. But Subash Chandra Bose said, you give me blood, I am going to give you freedom. You give me blood, I will give you freedom. Gandhi said, peacefully we should march for Swaraj. And Gandhi's basic principles were Ahimsa and Satya. Ahimsa and Satya. And both died for the cause of the nation. And both believed in emancipation of India. So this is how you have to build up your answer. See, everybody will write Gandhi believed in non-violence, Subash Chandra Bose relied on violence, and Gandhi started his introductions from within, and Subash Chandra Bose started his campaign Azad Hindu Fauj, Indian National Army, and how he founded all these things. All these things we can add. But the plus point here is, I wrote a sentence. Gandhi wrote to Rajkumari Amrut Kaur that Subash Chandra Bose is a patriot, but a misguided patriot. Subash Chandra Bose is a patriot, but a misguided patriot. So this is how you have to compare and contrast, and never overestimate mains answers. Don't think that we have to write flamboyant, very big words, nothing. And mains answer will be a size of Hindu paper letter to the editor, small, 100, 150, 200, and don't expect too much, and you will have a doubt whether we have to write in paragraphs or points. According to the question, you can write paragraphs or points. See, at that time there are 20 questions. Out of 20, around 10 I wrote in paragraphs, around 10 I wrote in points. There is no hard and fast rule, but according to the question, we can add points and paragraphs. For this Gandhi and Subash Chandra Bose question, half of the question I have divided, and half of the question I wrote 2 paragraphs and ended. I wrote small answers. It's not that I filled all the gap, because my writing is very big. But the answers are small. So I write similar answers to Gandhi and Subash Chandra Bose. How to compare and contrast. Pattern. And కొంచెం అర్థమైందా mains how to tackle. So now I gave 2-3 questions. I will give answers to these questions today. Tomorrow onwards, what I will do, I will give question, I will give 5 minutes time, you have to write bullet points and I will give answer. Tomorrow onwards you have to write. Today I will give you a question and also answer for the questions which I have told. The question which I gave is, the basic structure theory is dynamic but not static. The basic structure doctrine is dynamic but not static. Discuss. So they asked you to discuss with examples that it is dynamic but not static. Dynamic means keeps on changing. Okay, this question, see how to handle. Basic structure means the fundamental principles or core values of the constitution. Basic structure means the fundamental principles or core values of the constitution. The term basic structure is not mentioned in the Indian constitution. Actually, I want to start this answer with, the term basic structure is not mentioned in the Indian constitution, but I have not started like this because remember, we should never start answer with a passive, pessimistic or negative note. Though it is right, though it is correct, though it is right, though it is correct, I want to start this, the term basic structure is not mentioned, but what I have done, what I have given, basic structure means core principles or fundamental values. I have not used the word, it is not there in the Indian constitution in the first sentence. Just remember this difference. ఎప్పుడు కూడా ఫస్ట్ సెంటెన్స్ నెగిటివ్ సెంటెన్స్ రాయొద్దు, నిరాశగా రాయకూడదు. ఫస్ట్ సెంటెన్స్ కొంచెం మంచిగా రాయాలన్నమాట. సో ద టర్మ్ బేసిక్ స్ట్రక్చర్ మీన్స్ ద కోర్ వాల్యూస్ are fundamental values of the Indian constitution and of the any constitution, and the term basic structure is not mentioned in the constitution. It is a judicially evolved doctrine. Basic structure is a judicially evolved doctrine. Judicially evolved doctrine. In India, in Keshavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, 1973. In India, in Keshavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, 1973. The term basic structure was used, and Keshavananda Bharati case is also called as basic structure doctrine case. Keshavananda Bharati case is also called as basic structure doctrine case. This is the first paragraph. Second paragraph. In Keshavananda Bharati case, they have given some examples what is basic structure. As the right to amend the constitution does not mean the right to abrogate the constitution. The right to amend the constitution does not mean the right to abrogate the constitution. That means Parliament is given the right to amend the constitution, but Parliament is not empowered to abrogate the constitution. Parliament have the right to amend the constitution. Parliament have no right to abrogate the constitution. The Parliament should not touch the basic values of the constitution. That's called basic structure theory, and this theory keeps on improving, changing, because in Keshavananda Bharati case the judges told, if you fix these points as basic structure, it will become a watertight compartment. The basic structure doctrine is not a watertight compartment. It keeps on evolving by case. Example, in Keshavananda Bharati case they gave some illustrations like supremacy of the constitution, secularism, etc. the basic structures. Supremacy of the constitution, secular character of the state, supremacy of the constitution, secular character of the state, etc. the basic structures, etc. the basic structures. In Indira Gandhi versus Rajnarayan case, rule of law, free and fair elections are the basic structure. In Indira Gandhi versus Rajnarayan, 1975, rule of law, free and fair elections is basic structure. In Minerva Mills versus Union of India, 1980, Minerva Mills versus Union of India, 1980, judicial review, harmonious relationship between, one is judicial review, second is harmonious relationship between fundamental rights and directive principles is considered as basic structure. Harmonious relationship between fundamental rights and directive principles is considered as basic structure. In S.R. Bommai case, in S.R. Bommai versus Union of India, 1994, secularism is considered as basic structure of Indian constitution. Secularism is considered as basic structure of Indian constitution. So the conclusion sentence should be, by case by case, the basic structure doctrine is evolving. By case, the basic structure doctrine is evolving. Exactly, this is a power packed answer. Exactly, you should write. And you should write, if court fixes only these matters are basic structures, then rest of the things can be amended by the Parliament. So in the future times, in order to protect the core values of the constitution, the basic structure doctrine should be dynamic but not static. The basic structure doctrine should be dynamic but not static. This is the answer for the question. The basic structure doctrine is dynamic but not static. Done? This is how you have to handle a question in politics. Coming to a question in ethics. No, don't write like that. Never. See, in answer there will be a key before the examiner. Don't write remote connections. There will be a key. So there will be 5-6 key points. The examiner will see whether you have addressed the points or not. Examiner will not see your extraneous knowledge, some remote connections.
And the thing is, Constitution is a living document. Like
That you can write. That you can relate. As Constitution is a living document, the life of the Constitution should be beyond ages, beyond generations. So certain basic things should keep on evolving. That sentence you can add if you want. Okay, next I'll give an ethics question and answer, how to write a model. What is the utility of emotional intelligence in administration? What is the utility of emotional intelligence in administration? And what are the challenges associated with it? What are the challenges associated with its implementation in administration? What are the challenges associated with it? This is a question and answer. See, emotional intelligence in administration means not only understanding, channelizing and managing our own emotions, but also the emotions of the other people which we deal. Emotional intelligence in administration means not only understanding, managing, channelizing our own emotions, but also dealing with the emotions, channelizing the emotions with the people with whom we have official relations or some relations in administration. This is called emotional intelligence. This should be the first sentence of your answer. Okay. Of late, emotional intelligence is recognized as one of the important tools in effective administration. Of late, emotional intelligence is recognized as one of the important tools in administration. A is also called as social intelligence or social skill. Emotional intelligence is also called as social intelligence or social skill. Emotional intelligence anna, social intelligence anna, social skills anna okate. EI or social intelligence or social skill is one and the same. Next subheading, utility of emotional intelligence in administration. You have to give a subheading, utility of emotional intelligence in administration. In that first point, work will be a joy. Work will be a joy. Second, positive attitude. Positive attitude. Third, esprit de corps. ESPIRIT. Esprit DEDCORPS. Esprit de corps. ESPIRIT. Esprit DEDCORPS means team spirit. Esprit de corps means team spirit. Next, work with empathy. Empathy. So understanding each other's sensitivity is called empathy. You should use this word called empathy. Work with empathy. EMPATHY. Work with empathy. Next thing, there will be credibility and trust between people and the government and between employer and employee. There will be a credibility and trust. Credibility and trust building. Next, effectiveness and efficiency in work. Effectiveness and efficiency in work. Next, when you are emotionally intelligent, you will be more objective and less subjective. The employee will be more objective and less subjective. More objective and less subjective. And next, here you should write few points like out of box solutions. When you are emotionally intelligent in administration, you can bring innovations, creativity, out of box solutions. Innovations, creativity, out of box solutions. and image of the government service will increase. Image of the government service will increase. These are all the utility of emotional intelligence in administration. Utility of emotional intelligence in administration. You should give one example. A hungry man did not get his PDS on time. A man who is poor and hungry, he does not get his PDS on time. The food on time, his food grains on time. He shouted at the officer. The officer should not retaliate him. He should understand his point. The officer should not retaliate him. He should understand his point. In ethics, if you see toppers' answer sheets, examples will be very simple, very normal, but for everything they will write an example. Simple example. See, a hungry old lady is starving. She is starving, and what happened? She does not get food grains on time under Annapurna Yojana or some food security program. She shouted on the officer responsible for that. You are the officer. Will you retaliate? No. That simple example you should give. Next subheading, challenges of using emotional intelligence in administration. Challenges in using EI in administration. This is the next subheading. First challenge. Government servants are not trained psychiatrists. Government servants are not trained psychologists. They are not trained. They cannot use EI all the time. They are not trained. They cannot use EI all the time. First point. Second point. Already government servants are overburdened with work. Even though if they sit 24/7, sometimes even though if they sit 24/7, they cannot complete their entire task. And next is, government servants, if they are moved by EI all the time, if they are integrated with the emotional intelligence all the time, they will be moved by subjectivity. They will be carried by subjectivity. And next point, see, emotional intelligence and bookish knowledge of emotional intelligence is different, and real time emotional intelligence is different. You may test emotional intelligence in ethics paper, but emotional intelligence in the real time situation is very different. EI in the real time situation is very different. This also you have to add. EI in the real time situation is very, very different. And the next point here is, see, in the modern day administration, most of the relations are online. Most of the relations are virtual. In the government offices, we are using LAN, we are using intercom. So, one-to-one interaction is very remote. When one-to-one interaction is very remote, how can you use emotional intelligence? When one-to-one interaction is very remote, how can you use emotional intelligence all the time? And the last but not the least, the most important point, and the most important point here is, emotional intelligence, people might portray that they have different emotion outside, and they might have different emotion from within. I can show off that I am angry. I can show off that I am in sorrow mode. Really, I may not be so. So, no one in the modern times, no one, not even a devil, in the modern times, no one, not even a devil, can enter into human mind and can detect actually what is transpiring in the human mind. No one, not even a devil, can enter into human mind and can detect what is transpiring in the human mind. So, I have addressed two parts of the question. First part is utility of EI in administration. Second part is challenges. and I have written a very good challenge at the end. No one, not even a devil, can enter into human mind and can detect. No one, not even a devil, can enter into human mind and can detect what is actually transpiring in the human mind. So here I have to write a conclusion sentence. I should not stop here. I have to give a conclusion sentence. You know what conclusion I should write? Though there are challenges in the implementation of EI in administration, though there are challenges in the implementation of EI in administration, compared to its utility, compared to its utility, challenges are microscopic. Challenges are microscopic. Okay. We can maximize the utility of EI. We can maximize the utility of EI in administration. We can maximize the utility of EI in administration by minimizing the challenges. Understood? This is the question and this is the answer. Most of you have written mains last year. How many of you have actually followed this method while writing ethics paper? This is really important. You should address each part of the question. You should give an introduction, you should give a conclusion, you should give 1 or 2 examples. If they ask examples, you should give 3 examples. If they don't ask examples, at least 1 example. Okay. What I will do, every day I will select 2 questions from each domain. GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4. I will make you to write and I will teach you the answer like this. Okay. 1 month continuously we will do this practice. Then I will conduct exams to you. If you do this every day, there will be lot of improvement in your answer writing. But every day we will do. Every day I will select 10 questions which are important. This. So for example, tomorrow the questions which we are going to discuss. Role of NGOs in society. Tomorrow's topics. If you want, you can read and come. Otherwise also you can write. Role of NGOs in society. Relevance of Shanghai Cooperation Organization to India. Relevance of Shanghai Cooperation Organization to India. First is role of NGOs in the Indian society. Second is relevance of Shanghai Cooperation Organization to India. Third is how far bad bank is feasible in India. To solve the problems of NPS. How far bad bank is feasible in India to solve the problem of NPS. The fourth question is attitude behavior relationship in ethics. What is the relationship between attitude and behavior? What is the relationship between attitude and behavior? The fifth question is tomorrow we will discuss essay writing. First thing we will discuss entire essay writings. How to write an essay. I will give 2-3 model essays.